Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are at game number 2 between Liquid Zenio and nAni. This time we're on the map Shakuris Plateau, spawning in the lower right-hand spawn location. We've got nAni as our blue Protoss player, and then over here in the upper left-hand position, Liquid Zenio as the red Zerg player. Again, this is on the map Shakuris Plateau, this time spawning cross-positional. Let's talk about last game for a quick moment, though. What the heck? Liquid Zenio was doing all right. He killed off the Nexus once. He forced at least one cancel. There may have been 2 forced cancels in there. Don't quite remember, but he was really hurting nAni quite a bit, and he had a lot of roaches, was doing pretty significant damage. And then there were 2 mistakes back to back. First mistake, trying to walk up into the main, dropping a gateway. nAni was able to force him to stay on the ramp, which allowed those cannons in the low ground to just shell out on his roaches. The second mistake was just ridiculous miss micro. I don't know what that was. Walking by the Nexus, getting demolished by the cannons, and then he got force fielded in, and that lost the game. That was unbelievable though, because I thought Zenio had the game. I thought he was in a very strong position. Now he didn't have an expansion up yet. He was still just massing up roaches, but he didn't. He, as far as I'm concerned, he had an advantage over nAni at that point. nAni had lost a bunch of resources and losing a Nexus and forcing a few cancels and stuff. But anyways, whatever, that's enough of that. Another Forge Fast expand will be coming out here from nAni. nAni first checks lower left, and now moving up to upper left, we'll be spotting out Zenio. Zenio has gone pool first here this game, and it will be 2 to 4 Zerglings to shoo away a probe, plus a queen once that pool finishes. Until then, though, nAni is pretty content with just delaying this hatch as long as humanly possible. And it looks like, just like last game, we'll be going Nexus first. So delaying that Forge, and then subsequently that first gateway and cannon will be delayed as well. Might be able to pull it off this game too. We'll see what happens. I am just, I'm still face-palming. Zenio was doing so well last game. I'm very disappointed that he lost. Really thought that he had it there. But anywho, there is the Forge getting laid down. We should be seeing that cannon after, unless he's feeling comfortable. Let's see here. He's going to be dancing around right now and just trying to continue to delay this here as long as he can. We have got 4 Zerglings almost ready. Queen is coming on through as well. Let's see if Zenio can actually manage to drop this. Oh, he's having such a hard time here. Trying to drop the hatchery, but he can't because of this probe harass. There we go, finally forced away 2 Zerglings, forcing that probe to head back home. They want to stay in pursuit though, wants to make sure that that probe doesn't hide somewhere and then come back for secondary scouting. That's exactly the type of thing that he wants to deny. 3 Lings pushing out for some scouting efforts right now. Overlord moving down as well. This Overlord heading across the map should be situated somewhere around here. He'll be moving to the front of that natural expansion to try to check that out. There is that secondary scouting probe for nAni. Manages to sneak up in. Unfortunately, without that metabolic boost, the Ling isn't quite fast enough to deny that from happening. Here's a full wall off over here for nAni. We have got 1 cannon so far. He's got the full wall off with that pylon corner over there, plus this gateway and forge. Nexus is up. He's going to start to work to saturate that right now. And actually, now that this cannon finishes, he opens that up by canceling that pylon. Wants to leave that space. Didn't actually want to fully wall it off. I guess he was just making sure those Lings weren't sneaking in while that cannon was still building. And there's the Cyber Core. Okay, back home here for Liquid Zenio. Creep Tumor gets laid down. He's transferring over that Queen to get ready to inject some massive amounts of larvae into the hatchery. Pulled all the guys off the gas. Now that he has metabolic boost researching, he wants to use all his minerals to try to drone up very hard and to drop a 3rd. Now, unfortunately for him, looks like that 3rd will get scouted as nAni is moving out with his probe scout, checking the 3rd, and there you go. How unfortunate for Zenio, as nAni is now fully aware of that expansion, and as such, he can decide what he wants to do. Now, the big problem with this is it's pretty vulnerable if the Protoss player decides to go for a 6 or 7 gate push, and it may be happening here as we see the level 1 weapons upgrades coming out for nAni. We'll have to keep an eye on to what he follows up this with. As of now, he'll be focused on his economy and just massing up probes, but should be, once that warp gate research gets about halfway finished, we should likely be seeing that next transition, whether it's going to be more gateways, a lot more gateways, or just 2 to 3 more gateways plus a Stargate or a robotics. One of those 2 things should likely be happening. Metabolic boost almost finished right now. 8 Lings coming out. Going to try to maintain map control and maybe try to deny any additional scouting or harass, actually, because we do have 2 Zealots coming out right now. Just trying to chase those Lings. Oh, how cute. Look at those Lings hopping across the map. And the Zealots are like, oh, we are so slow, but so powerful. Stay away. All right, Lings pulling on down. Metabolic boost now finished, and here we go. Full surround on these 2 Zealots. Nothing doing here. So let's get taken out. Let's see if he micros back those Lings. No, he doesn't. Just takes the losses. Whatever. He could have probably saved those with a little bit of micro, but that's okay. Won't judge. Hatchery now finished over here, so his third base is up. We'll be transferring over workers sometime soon. He's got some solid saturation at that natural expansion. Evolution chamber also coming out. Would like to see this get resaturated shortly. I think he's going to wait, though, until he gets a few more units right over here. And holy heck, something's exploding right now. I have no idea what that was. That never happens. Sorry for the momentary lag. I think we'll all live, though. Let's see the transition here for nAni. See what he's going to be doing. We do have 3 gateways here. He's going to total him at 4 gates. That's not enough, so he's got something else planned. Have to assume here, 4 gateways. You can definitely afford a lot more than that off of 2 bases. Sacrificial Scout trying to move in. Unfortunately, though, he's not going to be scouting much of anything, as all the buildings are tucked away nice and safe here in the main base. And yeah, right now, nAni just kind of chilling out. There it is. There is the next thing that I was waiting for. Twilight Council. 4 gates. You can definitely afford more than that. So I was like, what is he doing? You can afford 4 gates off of 1 base. So we got 2 more coming out. So we'll be 6 gateways at the least, plus Twilight Council. What are we assuming here? Blink Stalkers is certainly a strong possibility. And that may very well be what we're going to see from him. Ling's dancing around right now. You can see right now trying to get vision across the map with overlords and controlling the towers. He wants to see if there's any fancy probes trying to dance around and hide some pylons for aggression. He just wants to delay that as long as possible. Probably chilling out with at least a few Lings here out front of the main base. He really should leave at least 1 or 2 just so he can see when a push comes. It doesn't hurt him at all, you know. Definitely not a bad idea. Blink Research will be the name of the game, so will be some Blink Stalkers here for nAni. Lings, again, trying to push up. He's trying to check the unit composition, wants to see if he can spot anything, like a Colossus or a Void Ray or anything fancy. He just wants to figure out what's going on. Also, just spotting the number of Stalkers could help tip him into the fact that there will be a Blink Stalker push coming. As you can see, pretty much Stalker heavy with the exception of these sentries here. They're likely to be joining the inevitable push. And, you know, laying down some Guardian Shields. The other option, too, is to leave a few of them at home to defend yourself in case of a counterattack. So really a multifaceted unit, obviously. Spire coming out, as well as a Hydra Den here. Zenio still not with much of an army. You can see he's got 36 Lings, but that's going to have a hard time against this push coming out. So he's going to have to mass up some forces very shortly. Now, he does have that Hydra Den very close to finish. Hydras tear through Stalkers. The problem is that with some Blink Micro, nAni can really prolong their life by keeping them away from the Stalkers. Also, with these sentries dropping down force fields makes it difficult for those Hydras to be within range because their range is so very short, of course. And that's something that definitely going to lend the advantage there to nAni. We'll have to see what ends up taking place, though, because we do have 8 Hydralisks coming out, a couple more Lings as well. Groove Spines for those Hydras, increasing their range, and here comes a push for nAni, trying to move forward. Taking out the probe, though, Zenio. Look at that smidgen of space there. The Ling's able to sneak through. Taking out the probe was absolutely pretty huge there, because as a result, there are going to be no more forward pylons until we see another probe join the fray, and as of now, that's not happening. So this is the furthest forward pylon that he has at the moment, and that really did hurt him. I'm sure he would have liked another pylon in this vicinity. Here comes the push right now. Speedlings moving down with those Hydras. Now the Speedlings are going to try to immobilize those Stalkers by getting on the backside, allowing those Hydras to be within range. Unfortunately, though, a couple of force fields keeping the Hydras out of range. More Speedlings join the fray. nAni a little concerned, pushing back. And force field walls are continuing up here. Speedlings trying to move forward, do as much damage as possible. We've got 26 more Lings coming out right now. And you can see, again, those Stalkers do a great job of staying away from the Hydras with just dropping a few force fields. Issue right now, though, is there is not much energy or sentries left in play. And so we won't be seeing many more force fields. But unfortunately, off the creep, those Hydras are so darn slow. It's going to be a huge, huge headache there for Zenio. Nothing else going on, no drops, no counter harass or anything like that from either player. This pylon coming into play as we're getting more and more reinforcements down here in the center of the map. And nAni just using that micro, trying to stay alive as long as possible. Speedlings pushing down, Hydras within range, start tearing through these Stalkers. It's really scary once those Hydralisks get within range. nAni has definitely got to be careful to try to avoid that from happening. We did just see a Roach one, I believe that completed, there it is. And we will be seeing the Glaive Reconstitution come out. That's going to, of course, be that Roach speed. So throwing some Roaches into the mix. 8, in fact, coming out right now. More Speedlings trying to get us around. Hydras pushing forward. And watch what happens when they get within range. That front line gets demolished as soon as those Hydralisks get close enough to start firing on those Stalkers. But you can see what nAni did there, trying to pull back while shooting constantly. And ooh, very nice for Zenio, forcing a cancel here. Also killing off a pylon. He got rid of that pylon in the center of the map as well. Take a look over here. nAni preparing a transition into Colossus. Why Colossus, you ask? Well, Colossus tear through Hydralisk as well as Zerglings. And so making that transition into Colossus is going to be a pretty wise move on his part. But again, we do have Roaches in play right now for Zenio, and Roaches are a little more durable against that Colossus. Overseer Scout spots that those Colossus are coming through, as he did see that Robotics Bay. He responds by getting out some Corruptors, and that's the proper response there from Zenio. That's going to be the anti-air he needs to deal with those Colossus. Stalker's pulling forward. You're going to see what he can do. Now, this isn't really that risky for nAni because he can get a couple shots off on the army, kill off a few units, and then just blink back. He's really got that opportunity to stay out of harm's way with these blink Stalkers, as long as he's paying attention to them and just can micro them in the nick of time. Corruptor's coming through to meet up with those Colossus, and actually that first Colossus isn't even in play. Yes, there's one Colossus, and I thought there should have been one. One Colossus in play, second one coming through, but we've got plenty of Corruptors right now. 7 Corruptors, in fact, right now for Zenio. Pulling forward, Stalkers. One big thing to pay attention to right now, though, is that Zenio has got this 4th and 5th base coming on through, and still nAni doesn't even have his 3rd finished right now, and that's really going to hurt him economically. He's going to start falling behind here. Here comes the engagement. Roaches and Hydras moving forward. Corruptors trying to take out those Colossus, and the Roach Hydra army tearing through the gateway units. Corruptors drop the last of the Colossus, and this is not looking good right now for nAni, as he is getting flanked by Roaches on the west side as well, and he is forced back. Going to be another force cancel, and instead he just calls the GG. nAni's opening of Blink Stalkers was met by Hydra Speedling for Zenio. We then saw a transition into Colossus, which was countered by the Corruptors. Another big part of this game was the fact that Zenio was able to force the cancel twice at this 3rd and set nAni behind too far economically to stay competitive in this game. Alright guys, thank you for watching. This was game number 2 here between Zenio and nAni. We're now tied up 1-1, and we'll move into game 3 in just a moment. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you like the content. Keep watching and keep owning.